Ever wondered about the strangest laws in our country? Buckle up as we embark on a journey of the most bizarre ones. Welcome to the Factenment Files. From prohibitions on ice cream toppings to regulations about whistling for lost canaries, there are laws out there that will surely make you scratch your head in confusion. Alright, let's dive right into the world of bizarre laws, starting with Kansas. Picture this. You're in Kansas enjoying a cherry pie, but wait, you can't put ice cream on it. Yes, that's illegal. It seems Kansas has a unique relationship with desserts. While this law is still on the books, it's not enforced. You might think it's a crime against dessert, but in Kansas, it's just a crime. Moving on to the capital city, Topeka, where the laws take a musical turn. As the moon rises and the streets quiet down, you might feel the urge to sing a little ditty. But be warned, belting out the alphabet song on the streets at night is against the law. While it's unclear why this law exists, it's best to keep your late-night crooning to a minimum. So, next time you're in Kansas, remember to eat your cherry pie plain and keep that alphabet song to yourself at night. California, the land of sunshine, Hollywood, and some pretty quirky laws. Let's start with Berkeley, where the early bird doesn't necessarily get the worm. If you've lost your canary, you might want to hold off on whistling for it until after 7 in the morning. That's right, early morning whistling for lost canaries is a no-go in this city. Perhaps it's to let these little songbirds and the city's residents get their beauty sleep. Or maybe it's just a unique way to keep the morning peace. Now, let's take a stroll over to the heart of California's fashion scene. But ladies, be warned. If your heels are more than 2 inches high, you might want to rethink your footwear choice. In Carmel by the Sea, it's illegal to walk on public streets wearing high heels of such height. Maybe it's a safety measure to prevent sprained ankles or just a bizarre attempt to keep the fashion scene a little more down to earth. And lastly, for the animal lovers among us, particularly those into amphibians, we have a unique law about frogs. In the Golden State, it's perfectly fine to possess any number of live frogs for frog jumping contests. But, if one of these competitive jumpers meets an untimely end, you'd better not be thinking about a frog leg dinner. The law states that any frog that dies or is killed during a jumping contest must be destroyed as soon as possible and can't be eaten or otherwise used. So if you're into frog contests, make sure it's purely for the love of the sport and not for culinary reasons. So remember, keep those heels low, don't eat contest frogs, and no early morning canary whistling. Moving on to the southern states, where charm meets some downright strange laws. Let's start with Lexington, Kentucky. Here they have a law that might make you rethink your ice cream habits. Believe it or not, it's actually illegal to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket. It's believed to have originated to prevent horse theft. The horse would follow the ice cream cone. Technically it wasn't horse theft, because the horse followed the thief. Next up, North Carolina. Now, if you're a fan of happy hour, you might want to sit down for this one. In this state, it's against the law to discount alcoholic drinks during happy hour. That's right, no 2-for-1 margaritas or half-priced mojitos. You'll have to pay full price for your after-work unwind, but that's not all in North Carolina. Over in Raleigh, they take their kitchen grease very seriously. If you were thinking of making off with some used kitchen grease, think again. That's right, it's illegal to steal used kitchen grease. It seems like a strange thing to covet, but hey, who are we to judge? Now let's head on down to Mobile, Alabama. If you're a fan of silly string and snap pops, you might be in for a bit of a disappointment. These fun party favorites are actually illegal in Mobile. So, you'll have to find another way to liven up your celebrations. Last but not least, we arrive in Louisiana. Here, you might want to reconsider where you tie up your pet alligator. In this state, it's illegal to tie your alligator to a fire hydrant. Sounds like a scene straight out of a cartoon, doesn't it? Oh, and while we're still in Louisiana, we should mention that it's also illegal to wrestle with a bear. Not that you'd want to, but it's good to know, right? So, keep your ice cream cones out of your pocket, don't discount your drinks during happy hour, and whatever you do, don't tie your alligator to a fire hydrant. Next, we head to the Pacific Northwest, where Bigfoot is protected, and clotheslines are a right. Now, when it comes to bizarre laws, Skamania County in Washington State certainly doesn't disappoint. You see, back in 1969, the county passed a law that made the slaying of Bigfoot a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Yes, you heard it right. Bigfoot, the elusive creature of folklore and legend, is protected by law in this part of the world. Later on, the law was even amended to designate Bigfoot as an endangered species. So if you're planning a Bigfoot hunt, you might want to reconsider your plans. You wouldn't want to end up behind bars for disturbing the peace of this mythical creature, would you? But Washington isn't the only state with oddly specific laws. Let's take a trip across the country to the quaint state of Vermont. where clotheslines are not just a household item, but a right. Yes, in Vermont, it's illegal to forbid people from putting up clotheslines. It may seem silly, but the law is actually in place to encourage green energy practices. So there you have it. Two more fascinating pieces of legislation that remind us that laws aren't always about serious matters like taxes and traffic regulations. Sometimes, they're about protecting mythical creatures and preserving the simple pleasures of life. In conclusion, the world of laws is as diverse as it is intriguing. From the protection of legendary beasts like Bigfoot in Washington to the preservation of the humble clothesline in Vermont, it's clear that there's no limit to the variety of legislation that exists in the United States. So, leave Bigfoot alone and hang your clothes out to dry with pride. Our final stop brings us to some truly unique laws, from nosy neighbors to how you eat your fried chicken. First up is Oklahoma, where the law has no time for eavesdroppers. If you're secretly loitering around any building, intending to overhear and publish the discourse to vex, annoy, or injure others, you're in for a misdemeanor. So keep those ears clean and minds cleaner, Oklahomans. Next, we journey to Delaware. For pawnbrokers, this is a sobering fact. It's illegal to purchase items from someone under the influence of alcohol. So, if you've had one too many and decide to pawn some valuables, you might want to sleep it off before making that trip. In the land of Lincoln, Illinois, there's a colorful law. It's illegal to dye baby chicks, other fowls, or rabbits. Now that's a law that certainly doesn't chicken out of protecting our feathered and furry friends. Now let's fly south to Gainesville, Georgia. Here the law is finger-licking good. It's illegal to eat fried chicken with a fork. In 2009, as a practical joke, a woman was arrested for violating this statute. But don't worry, she was pardoned the same day. Remember folks, in Gainesville, hands are the only utensils needed for fried chicken. In Jefferson, Missouri, they have a strict attitude towards garage sales. It's illegal to have more than 2 in a particular location during 1 year. So, if you've got a lot of stuff to sell, you might need to spread out those sales. In Massachusetts, you better be pitch perfect. If you're singing the national anthem in a public forum, you must do it correctly, without embellishments. So, no freestyling the Star-Spangled Banner, folks. Over in Grand Rapids, Ohio, here's a law for the wild at heart. If your dangerous animal escapes, you have to report it to the authorities within 1 hour. So keep that leash tight on your tiger. So avoid eavesdropping in Oklahoma and don't pawn while drunk in Delaware. Finally, we land in sunny Florida, where there are some peculiar laws. It is illegal to sing in a public place while attired in a swimsuit. According to Florida law, rats are forbidden to leave the ships docked in Tampa Bay. Also in Tampa, it is illegal to eat cottage cheese after 6 p.m. on Sunday. In Florida, unmarried women parachuting on Sundays can be fined. So keep that karaoke at the beach to a minimum, folks. Phew, that was a whirlwind tour of some truly bizarre laws. From the sweet but slightly peculiar laws of Kansas, where ice cream on cherry pie is a no-go, to California's unique stance on high heels and frog jumping contests. If you enjoyed these facts, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing facts.